As we start the breakdown of the Darkroom Staff, I'll explain the procedure that will be used. I will go through the kata section by section. I will take each of the sections, first of all, without an opponent, work against any weapon. Then I will work the particular section with an opponent, change the direction if necessary, and in this particular case, we may use more than one particular weapon to emphasize the different movements. The first movement in the kata from here, from the basic position, I step in with the right foot, striking directly at the opponent's head. In this particular case, if the strike has been ineffective, or more particular, if the opponent has evaded the movement and counters with the right hand changes its position from here to hook and block the opponent's weapon as they're trying to counter the head as I step in and make my strike with an opponent. From here, in this particular case, the opponent is going to step back and evade my movement. It really doesn't matter. From here, in this particular case, they could have shuffled back. As I step in, strike the opponent's head, the opponent has evaded the movement from here. Notice now, as the opponent steps in to make the strike to my head and counter from here, the counter. I change the hand to adjust, first of all, to block now and clear the opponent's, in this particular case, staff past my head as I step in now and make the strike to the head. Taken at the different angle. Once again, from here, the opponent steps back. Notice it's right from here. If the opponent did not step back, my strike would have been effective to the head. In this particular case, the opponent steps back, rendering my first movement ineffective. The opponent steps in to make their strike. I counter. Notice as I counter, if I just work from here, I have a tendency now to work against the thumb, and I may lose this control from here and not be able to stop the strike to the head. I turn the hand over, hooking from here as I step in and make the strike. The second section will be used against a sword to show you how we can clear a sword even though it has a blade from here and not injure the hand. But I have to emphasize on this can only be used against a single-sided bladed weapon, things like this, because what we're going to do, we're going to end up placing our hand against the back of the sword to clear it. Once again, I'll take you through the first section from here to put you in position from here for the second section. From this position, stepped in, on the second section now, I have an opponent directly to the left side from here. As the opponent comes overhead with the sword, the first object I have now is to block the sword. So that's exactly what I do to clear it past the body. What I want to do at this point now from here is to keep from getting my hand cut. Also, I want to clear the sword past the body to do this. I continue it down, roll it over in such a manner from here that the back of my hand is now on the sword, clearing it past the body, then I come to the counter. I will take that section once again, then we'll repeat it at a different angle. First I block, clearing it past the left side of my body as my left hand is to the back of the sword and the strike is made to the opponent's head. I'll now take this at a different angle from here to give you a better view on that last motion. From this particular position, once again, the overhand sword, the strike is made. The sword from here is hooked. The left hand is placed on the back of the sword, clearing it past the left side of the body as we strike to the head. As they follow up to the previous movement, a close-up view so you can see the exchange of the hand. From the previous movements, the opponent comes in with the overhead sword movement from here. Notice the block is made from here to clear the sword. The staff at this point comes back. The left hand now comes to the back of the sword to clear the sword past the body, and the strike and continuation is made to the head. As we break down the fourth section of the set, which involves your spinning movements, besides just being basic exercise, getting back and forth, I put approximately 5 inches of black tape on one end so you can follow the motion on this. And the exercise that follows against either a staff or a spear. It's complicated enough for you to learn for an exercise, simply the blocking and spinning with the one end. Eventually, we concentrate on both ends, but since this is the introduction, simply beginning movements from here. we'll concentrate on strictly the one end as a blocking movement. Was the lead into the entire kata this time with no opponent, so you can get down the individual sections. The first section was a block, the adjustment, and strike. The second was clearing the sword, the strike. The second was the block, the clear, and the strike. The next movement from here is either single or double step back. We'll step back single, paying attention to the staff that's in the right hand. Spin, 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 spin. Adjust. This will actually be the end of this movement from here. We'll step forward and strike. Take it as an exercise. We'll take it against the spear, and we'll concentrate at this point only on the spear thrust at one end, concentrating for an after practice that can be done with both movements. So your final movement from here was a strike. As I step back, notice that my first movement on the motion from here is going to be down. So at this point from here, as I'm stepping back, that's exactly, the spear will be in a low position. Notice the first clearing movement from here. We'll concentrate on only the right hand. The spear is withdrawn. Coming from here, it comes across. Notice the spear in this particular position from here. At this point, the spear comes high. Notice the block. The spear is withdrawn. This time, the spear will come to the center line of the body. Notice my carrying movement across again. Notice as the spear is withdrawn, it comes high. Notice the clearing movement from here. Once again, it's withdrawn. Comes low to the center line, strike. Once again, it comes high. Notice on each of the movements from here, we had a strike and a clear. From here, the spear comes low. From here, I'll take a complete spinning movement from here. We want now, if we didn't concentrate on just a single, it would have been the other hand that was coming through. This time the spear will come high. Notice that once again I'm using now the double end. Notice the strike and the clear from here. This could have just as easily been as we're using the double end from here now. Rather than striking with the top, as the spear comes low, the clear is now low from here. At this point I have two choices. The spear could be to this side, the spear could be to this side. Let's take either example. Let's take it first high to here. Notice it comes over, the strike is made to here. On the other hand, if it comes to the other side, from here, I could have cleared here or all the way over. Once again, let's go back and repeat just the first set using only the right hand. As I step back from here, the spear is going to be, first of all, low. Spin. Notice this is withdrawn from here. I'll bring this all the way to the body. From here, we're concentrating only on this one. We'll take the spear again low since we're using the right hand. 2. Notice in actual practice, let me step in closer. It would have cleared it completely past the body. The spear is withdrawn from here. This time I'll have the spear once again coming to the center line from here. I have two choices, but we're going to not use the left hand from here. We're going to take only the top. So the spear will come all the way through. This will come from here. Notice the block is now done from here. This would clear the spear completely past from here, this side of the body. If I wanted, I could have double checked with this end. Let's go back to the basic elements of the spin again. Right from here, if I want, as the spear comes high, it could have came directly across, or if it came low, the movement could have been to here. We'll withdraw it, we'll take it in the formal section and design back in position from here now. Since we want to concentrate only on the left side, it comes to here. Notice the low clear, and the spear is withdrawn. Notice as it comes to the center line, the spear comes back to the center. The spear is withdrawn. It's coming down. Once again, so I'm blocking down and across. So the spinning movements in any of the katas are done for two reasons. First, it's a block, and second is to put it to the opposite side. The next section now, of course, is going to be repeated without an opponent. If you just visualize, we're taking the same thing, now what we've introduced from here, we're going to be stepping forward, and we're going to be stepping back, so we take the spinning movement. I will now incorporate the next two sections from here. Your movement from here as I step back and spin 1, 2, 3, for the exchange of the hand and the strike. Now notice as we're coming forward, it's the same type of a blocking movement. I block, I change to the opposite side from here to step forward and strike. The same thing as I'm stepping back. I can block with either end, I can block with either end. I pivot now and strike to this position. We will now take the movement from here. Actually, it's quite simple. They're just a matter of using it now as a spearing motion from here. I'll just have the opponent stand in position. The next application will take the actual application of the kata. Once again, this movement could have been the final movement of my stepping, or it could have been a movement striking. What we're going to do is now take it from the kata application. Once again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the staff as a spear. As I do, I'm going to strike forward to the opponent. What the opponent has done, of course, in this particular thing is intercept the center line in this particular case, so they've been able to deflect my spearing movement past the side ahead, and I will over-exaggerate this as the contact is made to show you how my particular motion has been cleared past the opponent's head. What the opponent has then done is gain the advantage of the center line. They will then step in this particular case, or they could have used the spearing movement from here, and I will show you why we use exchange of a hand, the turn over the staff, and then our counter motion. From this particular position now, from here, once again, I have made a spearing movement to the center line. First of all, I will not have the opponent block. I will show you what would have happened from here if there had been no interception of the center line. Notice the strike would have been to the head, the target, or the body. What the opponent has done in this particular case, though, from here, is to intercept the center line. And so as I'm striking forward, notice it's been cleared to the outside from here. The opponent now has the advantage of being on the inside of the center line from here. Since they also have a reach advantage, what I'm going to have to do this particular step back. Notice as I do, however, I'm going to use the hooking movement down from here now, much as we did on the sword, to clear it to the center line from here and make the hand exchange. So from this position, as the opponent steps in now to gain the advantage from here, I clear this past this side of my body. Notice how I turn it over from here. The hand exchange from here, then I've gained the advantage and striking forward. The next movement now from here involves our low sweeping movement from here in a matter of gaining distance. From this particular position, we clear the opponent's motion from here. I'll have the opponent come in this particular case, using the spear once again with simply a low spearing movement. So from here, as the opponent is coming in with a spearing movement, I intercept this, continue through. Notice, there is my actual striking movement from here. Once again, my first movement is low on a clearing. Notice when we're talking about a clearing motion from here, this allows me to clear the entire lower section of the body from here. I'll have Pat demonstrate this at several different angles. First of all, she'll strike low as if it were to the foot. Notice, there's my clearing movement. She will take it a little bit higher. Notice, there's the clearing movement. Okay. But what I have both hands to give me the advantage and the power enough to put this in a direction from here that the opponent cannot recover before I complete my movement for the strike. So as the spearing motion is in, notice I've cleared, and the opponent's motion is going from here. What they would have to do is clear it completely over the head, or they would have to be able to reverse it to get back. I want to hit this hard enough that since I've got the momentum and velocity from here, that I will be able to make the strike for the opponent. As the spear is coming in, it's down low 1, the motion 2. It is completed from here. I'll just have Pat move out of the way on this one. And the kata, for practice, we add one more motion. I'm going to take the next motion in the kata without a partner to start with, then I'm going to change angles so you can see what we're doing. Imagine at this point now that this has been blocked down in such a manner I'm underneath the opponent's weapon, which will be a spear this time. I will clear and step forward with a strike. In this particular case, I'll have the opponent take it in this direction. My motion is ended up in a manner such as this. So from here, as the opponent is coming in, I'll let Gain the distance from here as we're coming in from here. It can either be a spear motion, but my movement now will be to clear this low. So the movement from here, as the spear is coming in, notice how I clear the spear high. I step in. Notice the clearing the strike to the groin. The kata is finished off from here. One more time on a breakdown. The motion was from here. As the spearing movement comes in, notice it can be almost at any angle, from here or to here. It can even be from a low position, from here. What we're doing on each of these, and this is why I use the forward hand from here in a short motion. Once again, as it's coming in, I intersect, clear it over the body, over the head, strike to the groin. This ends the breakdown of the physical application of each of these movements. Notice while we've had a specific counter and defense for each of these movements, as we get into more applications of more advanced staff sets, notice we'll take the same movements and simply adapt them to different attacks by the opponent. Our basic movement will always be the same. It's simply a matter of understanding the movement, understanding the opponent's weapon, how do you gain the advantage. Once again, we will take these basic applications and you will see them repeated time and time again in all of the staff sets that follow.